Judges chapter 9. Abimelech, son of Jerubbaal, marched to Shechem, where the brothers of his mother were. And he said to them and to the whole paternal family of his mother, Please ask this to all the lords of Shechem, which is better for you, that you be governed by all the 70 sons of Jerubbaal, or by only one man. Remember that I am of the same blood as you are. The brothers of his mother sent this message to all the lords of Shechem. The lords of Shechem took sides with Abimelech, saying, He is our brother. So they gave him 70 shekels of silver from the temple of Baal Berith, with which Abimelech hired wicked mercenaries to set out with him. Abimelech went with them to the house of his father in Ophrah, and on one stone killed all his brothers, the 70 sons of Jerubbaal. Only Jotham, the younger son of Jerubbaal, was able to escape by hiding himself. Then all the lords of Shechem and all Beth Millo assembled together by the oak at the pillar in Shechem, and proclaimed Abimelech king. When Jotham was told about this, he went to the top of Mount Gerizim. There he cried out to them, Listen to me, lords of Shechem, that God may listen to you. The trees once set out to find and anoint a king. They said to the olive tree, Be our king. The olive tree answered, Am I to renounce the oil by which gods and men are honored, to hold sway over the trees? The tree said to the fig tree, Come and reign over us. The fig tree answered them, Am I to renounce my sweetness and my delicious fruit, to hold sway over the trees? The tree said to the vine, Come and reign over us. The vine answered, Am I to renounce my juice, which cheers gods and men, to hold sway over the trees? Then the tree said to the bramble bush, Come, reign over us. The bramble bush answered the trees, If you come in sincerity to anoint me as your king, then come near and take shelter in my shade. But if not, let fire break out of the bramble bush to devour even the cedars of Lebanon. And now tell me, have you acted rightly and truthfully in choosing Abimelech king? Have you treated Jerubbaal and his family well, and given him what he deserves according to his merits? For my father fought for you, risking his life to free you from the hands of the Midianites. But now you have risen against the family of my father. You have killed all his 70 sons on one stone, and have declared Abimelech, the son of his slave girl, as king over the lords of Shechem, because he is your brother. If you have acted rightly and truthfully toward Jerubbaal and his family today, then may Abimelech rejoice in you and you in him. But if not, let fire break forth from Abimelech to devour the lords of Shechem and Beth Millo, and let fire break forth from the leading men of Shechem and Beth Millo to devour Abimelech. Jotham then fled to the safety of Beer, and he lived there because he was afraid of his brother Abimelech. Shechem rebels against Abimelech. Abimelech ruled over Israel for 3 years, but the Lord sent a spirit of discord between Abimelech and the lords of Shechem, and the lords of Shechem betrayed Abimelech. The Lord did this so that the 70 sons of Jerubbaal might be avenged. Their blood had to fall back upon their brother Abimelech, who murdered them, and the lords of Shechem who helped him murder his brothers. To do him harm, the lords of Shechem prepared ambushes against Abimelech on the mountain tops, and intimidated everyone who passed by the way. Abimelech was informed of this. Then Gaal, son of Ebed, came with his brothers, and he won the confidence of the lords of Shechem. One day they went to the vineyards and gathered grapes, and trod them in the winepress. Then they feasted in the temple of their God. While eating and drinking, they cursed Abimelech. Then Gaal, son of Ebed, exclaimed, Who is Abimelech for the Shechemites that we should serve him? He is only the son of Jerubbaal, and Zebul is but his town captain. Let us serve the people of Hamor, the father of Shechem. Why should we serve Abimelech? If only these people were in my hands, then I would remove Abimelech. I would say to him, reinforce your army, come out and fight. When Zebul the city governor was informed of the plan of Gaal, son of Ebed, he was very angry. He sent messengers to Abimelech in secret to say to him, see, Gaal, son of Ebed, has come with his brothers to Shechem, and he is stirring up the city against you. Therefore arise, you and your men you have with you, and lay an ambush in the field. By early morning at sunrise, go and rush upon the city. When Gaal comes out against you with his men, you may do to him whatever you wish. Abimelech and all his troops rose by night, and they laid an ambush against Shechem in 4 groups. When Gaal son of Ebed went out and stood at the entrance of the city, Abimelech and his troops rose from their hiding place. Gaal saw the troops and said to Zebul, look, people are coming down from the mountain tops. But Zebul answered him, it is the shadow of the mountain that you see. You mistake it for men. Gaal said again, look, people are coming down from the center of the land, and another group is coming from the diviner's oak. Zebul then said, did you not say, who is Abimelech, that we should serve him? Are not these the men you once despised? Go now and fight them. Gaal went out and led the people of Shechem in fighting Abimelech pursued Gaal, who fled, and many fell dead before reaching the gates. Abimelech returned to Arumah, and Zebul drove out Gaal and his brothers and did not let them live in Shechem. Shechem destroyed. The following day the people of Shechem went out into the fields. Abimelech was informed about this, so he called his troops, divided them into 3 groups, and laid an ambush in the fields. When he saw the people coming out of the city, he rose against them and killed them. Abimelech and a group with him attacked and took possession of the entrance to the city gates. Other groups rushed upon those who were in the fields. Throughout the day, Abimelech attacked the city. He took it and killed all its inhabitants. Then he destroyed the city and sprinkled salt over it. When the inhabitants of the tower of Shechem heard this, they went to the underground room of the temple of El-Berith. Abimelech was told that all the inhabitants of the tower of Shechem were together. So he went up to Mount Zalmon with all his troops. Taking an axe, he cut down a branch of a tree, lifted it up, and bore it on his shoulders. He then said to the troops with him, you have seen what I have done, so do the same. So all his men cut the branches and followed Abimelech. They piled the branches on top of the underground room and set them on fire over the people inside. So all the inhabitants of the tower of Shechem, about 1,000 men and women, died. Death of Abimelech. Abimelech went against Thebes, besieged it and took it. But inside the city was a strong tower in which all the men and women, all the inhabitants of the city sought refuge. They locked it from within and went up to the roof of the tower. Abimelech came to the tower to attack them. He approached the door, intending to set it on fire, but the woman threw a millstone upon his head and shattered his skull. He immediately called out to his young armor-bearer and said to him, draw your sword and kill me, lest they say of me, a woman killed him. So his armor-bearer thrust him through, and he died. When the people of Israel saw that Abimelech was dead, everyone returned to his home. In this way, God repaid Abimelech for the evil he had done to his father when he murdered his 70 brothers. He also made the people of Shechem pay for all their wickedness, so the curse of Jotham, son of Jerubbaal, was fulfilled. Judges chapter 10, Tola and Jar. After Abimelech, Tola son of Puah, son of Dodo, came forward to save Israel. He was from the tribe of Issachar and lived at Shamir in the mountains of Ephraim. He was judge of Israel for 23 years, and when he died, he was buried in Shamir. After him rose Jar of Gilead, who was judge of Israel for 22 years. He had 30 sons who rode on 30 asses, and had 30 cities which are still called the villages of Jah to this day in the land of Gilead. When Jah died, he was buried in Carmel. Oppression by the Ammonites. The Israelites again did what was evil in the sight of the Lord. They served the Baals and the Ashtaroth, the gods of Aram and Sidon, the gods of Moab, the gods of the Ammonites, and the gods of the Philistines. They abandoned the Lord and no longer served him. The anger of the Lord burned against Israel, so he gave them into the hands of the Philistines and the Ammonites. For 18 years, all the Israelites living on the other side of the Jordan in the Amorite of Gilead were disturbed and oppressed. The Ammonites also crossed the Jordan to attack Judah, Benjamin, and the people of Ephraim. Israel was in great distress. Then the Israelites cried out to the Lord, saying, We have sinned against you, for we have abandoned the Lord our God to serve the Baals. The Lord said to the Israelites, When the Egyptians, the Amorites, the Ammonites, the Philistines, the Sidonians, the Amalekites, and the Midianites oppressed you, and you cried out to me, did I not save you from their hands? But in spite of this you have abandoned me and served other gods, so I will not save you again. Go and cry out to the gods you have chosen. See if they will save you in the time of your distress. The Israelites answered the Lord, We have sinned. Do to us whatever you wish, but save us today. Then they put away the strange gods and served the Lord, and he could no longer endure the suffering of Israel. The Ammonites assembled and went to encamp in Gilead. The Israelites also assembled, and they encamped at Mizpah. There the people and the leaders of Gilead asked one another, Who will lead us all to fight against the Ammonites? Whoever he is, we shall make him head of all the inhabitants of Gilead. Psalm 104. The universe praises its Creator. Bless the Lord, O my soul. O Lord my God, how great you are, clothed in majesty and splendor. You are wrapped in light as with a garment. You stretch out the heavens like a tent. You build your house above the waters. You make the clouds your chariot, and ride on the wings of the wind. You make the winds your messengers, and fire and flame your ministers. You set the earth on its foundations, and never will it be shaken. You covered it with ocean like a garment, and water spread over the mountains. But at your rebuke the waters fled. At the sound of your thunder they took to flight. They flowed over the mountains, then went down into the valleys to settle in the place you had marked for them. You set a limit that they cannot cross. Never again will they flood the earth. You make springs gush forth in valleys. They flow between the mountains, giving drink to the beasts of the field, quenching the thirst of donkeys. Birds build their nest close by and sing among the branches of trees. You water the mountains from your upper chambers and fill the earth with the fruit of your work. You make grass grow for cattle and plants for man to cultivate, that he may bring forth food from the earth, wine to gladden his heart, oil to make his face shine, and bread to make him strong. The Lord waters his trees, the cedars of Lebanon which he planted. There the birds build their nest. The stork has its home in the pine trees. High mountains are for wild goats, the cliffs are refuge for badgers. You made the moon to mark the seasons, the sun knows when to set. You bring on darkness, and it is night, when all the beasts of the forest begin to prowl. Young lions roar for their prey, seeking their food from God. When the sun rises, the beasts steal away, returning to rest in their dens. Man then goes out to his work and toils till evening comes. How manifold are your works, O Lord! In wisdom you have crafted them all. The earth is full of your creatures. Look at the sea, wide and vast, teeming with countless creatures, living things both great and small, a strange world reserved for the ships, and the monster Leviathan to play with. They all look to you for their food in due time. You give it to them and they gather it up. You open your hand, they are filled with good things. When you hide your face, they become afraid. You take away their breath and they return to dust. When you send forth your spirit, they are created and the face of the earth is renewed. May the glory of the Lord endure forever. May the Lord rejoice in his works. He looks on the earth and it quakes. He touches the mountain and it smokes. I will sing to the Lord all my life. I will sing praise to God while I live. May my song be pleasing to him as the Lord gives me delight. May sinners vanish from the earth and may the wicked be no more. Alleluia. Bless the Lord, my soul. Luke chapter 12, verse 32 to 59. Do not be afraid, little flock, for it has pleased your Father to give you the kingdom. Sell what you have and give alms. Get yourselves purses that do not wear out, and make safe investment with God, where no thief comes and no moth destroys. For where your investments are, there will your heart be also. Be ready, dressed for service, and keep your lamps lit, like people waiting for their master to return from the wedding. As soon as he comes and knocks, they will open to him. Blessed are those servants whom the master finds wide awake when he comes. Truly I tell you, he will put on an apron and have them sit at table, and he will wait on them. Blessed are those servants he finds them awake when he comes at midnight or daybreak. Pay attention to this. If the master of the house had known at what time the thief would come, he would not have let him break into his house. You also must be ready, for the Son of Man will come at an hour you do not expect. Peter said, Lord, did you tell this parable only for us or for everyone? And the Lord replied, Imagine then the wise and faithful steward, whom the master put in charge of his other servants, to give them their allowance of food at the proper time. Fortunate is this servant if his master on coming home finds him doing his work. Truly I say to you, the master will put him in charge of all his property. But suppose the steward thinks, my master will take a long time to come back, and he begins to beat the other servants, men and women, and start eating, drinking, and getting drunk. Then the master may come on a day he does not expect him, and at an hour he does not know. He will throw at that servant and make him share the fate of the disobedient. The servant knew his master's will, but did not get ready to do what his master wanted, will be punished with severe beatings. But the one who did what deserved the punishment without knowing it shall be beaten lightly. Much will be required of the one who has been given much, and much more will be demanded from the one to whom a great deal has been entrusted. Jesus, the cause of division. I have come to cast fire upon the earth, and how I wish it were already kindled. I have a baptism to undergo, and what anguish I feel until it is over. Do you think that I have come to bring peace on earth? No, I tell you, but rather division. From now on, a household of 5 will be divided, 3 against 2 and 2 against 3. They will be divided, father against son and son against father, mother against daughter and daughter against the mother, mother-in-law against daughter-in-law and daughter-in-law against mother-in-law. The signs of the times. Jesus said to the crowds, When you see a cloud rising in the west, you say at once, a shower is coming. And so it happens. And when the wind blows from the south, you say it will be hot, and so it is. You hypocrites, you know how to interpret the appearances of the earth and the sky. How is it that you cannot interpret the present times? And why do you not judge for yourselves what is right? When you go with your accuser before the court, try to settle with him on the way, lest he drag you to the judge, and the judge deliver you to the jailer, and the jailer throw you in prison. I tell you, you will not get out until you have paid the very last copper coin.